my name is Sean from 3D IT, and today we're going to be talking about peripherals. Now I could tell you about all the different types of peripherals, but I think you know what a keyboard and mouse is. Instead, I'm going to be telling you about the different types of keyboard and mouse. Now before I dive into the exciting world of keyboard and mice, I'm going to tell you about the different connectors for keyboards and mice. Keyboards and mice use two different types of connectors, PS2 and USB. PS2 is a 6-pin mini-DIN connector. Its name comes from the IBM Personal Machine 2, which was introduced in 1987. PS2 ports are color-coded. One is green, and that's for the mouse, and the other one is purple, and that's for the keyboard. There are still a few benefits for using PS2, even though they're considered legacy ports. PS2 ports are useful for security and business settings because you can disable USB ports, which can be used for storage devices and malicious USB devices. The PS2 keyboard port has a lower latency than the USB keyboard. Latency is basically the delay from which you press a key and when the key press is executed. It also provides full in-key rollover, so if you're a really fast typer, that could become handy. Now, the PS2 port does have a few drawbacks. The first drawback is the durability of the PS2 port. It's not really meant to be plugged in and out constantly. And if you do that, it can lead to bent or broken pins. PS2 connectors aren't meant to be hot swapped either, so you can't just unplug it and then plug it back in and expect the computer to work. You need to completely shut down the computer and then replug it in before it can work on the computer. Now for USB, the pros and cons are basically the opposite of PS2. It can be a security risk, it has higher latency, and it doesn't provide full in-key rollover. However, it is more durable as long as you connect it in properly, and it can also be hot swapped between multiple devices that use USB. For keyboards, there are two types of keyboards, membrane keyboards and mechanical keyboards. A membrane keyboard is a keyboard with three layers in design: the top membrane layer, the holes layer, and the bottom membrane layer. When a key is pressed, it moves through the holes layer and makes contact with the conductive traces on top of the bottom membrane layer. The type of membrane keyboard we will be focusing on is the dome switch keyboard. This type of keyboard uses a rubber or silicone keypad that comes with domes as the top membrane layer. The pros of a membrane keyboard is that it's quiet, more portable, and more affordable than compared to a mechanical keyboard. The cons of a membrane keyboard is that cleaning it can be an issue because the keycaps are not removable. The lifespan of a membrane keyboard is far less than a mechanical keyboard. There's also no feedback when a key is pressed, so if you like hearing your keys, it's going to be a problem. And finally, key rollover. This can happen if you type fast and the keyboard fails to register the key press. Now let's look at mechanical keyboards. Mechanical keyboard uses switches to send typing signals. There are multiple mechanical switches, each performing differently. The most common switches are blue, red, brown, and black. Some require a certain amount of force to be pressed, some create more feedback, and others can be easier to press. Here's some pros for a reason to get a mechanical keyboard. Removable keycaps. Keycaps can be removed, which allows you to customize your keyboard to match whatever theme you want. Durability. Mechanical keyboards take longer to wear out, plus the feedback never changes, so you'll always get that clicky sound. Tactility. This is basically deals with the key rollover that I discussed earlier. Keystrokes will always register. Mechanical keyboards can also be heavy, so this is either a pro or a con. It can be a pro because it'll be nice and sturdy and won't move around. It can be a con because it's harder to move and it's heavier. And finally, they're easier to clean. You can remove the keycaps so you can get in between the keys and get all those crumbs. And now for the cons. A mechanical keyboard can be pricey. Another con is the noise. Depending on what switches the keyboard are, it can be quite loud, with blue switches being the loudest. So a mechanical keyboard isn't something you would want to use in a public place. If you want to customize your keyboard, you're going to need some do-it-yourself skills, but there are plenty of tutorials to help you on your way. And now we're moving on to the different types of mice. There's the mechanical mouse, the laser mouse, and the optical mouse. A mechanical mouse, otherwise known as the ball mouse, uses a rubber or metal ball to determine mouse movement. When the ball rolls, mechanical sensors detect the movement and move the cursor accordingly. Next is the laser mouse, and it consists of two components, the laser emitter and the laser detector. The laser mouse uses a laser as a light emitter and has a precise scanning of mouse movement. The optical laser also has a laser emitter and a laser detector, but uses an LED as a laser emitter. What type of peripherals you need all depends on your personal taste, so try out different peripherals to see what you like. Well, that's all I have for you today. This is Sean from 3D IT saying see you next time.